The story of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company is inextricably woven into the fabric of the American frontier, representing a pivotal chapter in the nation's industrial and territorial expansion. Founded by Oliver Winchester in 1866, the company did not merely manufacture firearms, it engineered the mechanical reliability that allowed for the rapid settlement of the Great Plains and the West. At its core, the Winchester legacy is defined by the transition from single-shot muzzleloaders to the rapid-fire capability of the lever-action rifle. This technological leap changed the nature of defense, hunting, and law enforcement in an era where reliability was the difference between survival and catastrophe. The brand became a symbol of American ingenuity, combining rugged durability with a precision that was previously unseen in mass-produced hardware.
Oliver Winchester, a successful clothing manufacturer, saw the potential in the struggling Volcanic Repeating Arms Company and eventually reorganized it into the enterprise that would bear his name. The breakthrough came with the improvement of the Henry rifle, leading to the Model 1866, famously known as the Yellow Boy, due to its brass alloy receiver. This rifle was the first to feature the iconic loading gate on the side of the frame, a design element that allowed a marksman to keep the weapon shouldered while replenishing the magazine. In the hands of settlers, scouts, and soldiers, the Model 1866 provided a volume of fire that fundamentally altered the tactical landscape of the American West. It was the physical manifestation of the Industrial Revolution reaching the edge of the wilderness. The introduction of the Winchester Model 1873 marked the zenith of the company's cultural and functional impact, earning the moniker "the gun that won the West." Its significance lay in its chambering for the 4440 Winchester cartridge, which was also adopted by the Colt single-action Army revolver. This logistical synergy meant that a frontiersman only needed to carry one type of ammunition for both his long gun and his sidearm, a revolutionary convenience in the remote territories. The 1873 was a masterpiece of iron and walnut, a tool so reliable that it remained in production for over half a century. It represented a standard of excellence that consolidated the Winchester name as the premier choice for those venturing into the unknown. Beyond the battlefield and the frontier trail, Winchester's success was a testament to the American system of manufacturing, utilizing interchangeable parts and rigorous quality control. The factory in New Haven, Connecticut, became a cathedral of industry, employing thousands of skilled craftsmen who turned raw steel and timber into instruments of national expansion. The company's growth mirrored the rise of the United States as a global industrial power, proving that American factories could outproduce and out-engineer their European counterparts. Winchester didn't just sell a product, they sold the capability for an individual to exert influence over a vast and often hostile environment. The lever-action mechanism became a tactile language of American self-reliance. As the 19th century drew to a close, Winchester continued to innovate under the brilliance of designers like John Browning, who developed the Model 1886 and the Model 1894.
The 1894, in particular, became the most popular sporting rifle in American history, transitioning the brand from a tool of conquest to a staple of the American hunting tradition. This shift ensured the brand's survival as the Wild West era faded into history, cementing its place in the recreational and cultural life of the 20th century American male. The rifle became a rite of passage, passed down from father to son, embodying a connection to a rugged past that many Americans were beginning to view with nostalgia. The company's contributions during the World Wars further solidified its status as a pillar of the arsenal of democracy. Winchester produced hundreds of thousands of pattern 1914 and M1917 Enfield rifles, as well as the legendary M1 Garand and the M1 carbine. These contracts transformed the company into a massive military supplier, aligning its corporate fate with the survival and triumph of the nation on the global stage. For the generation that fought in these conflicts, the Winchester name was synonymous with the mechanical superiority that secured victory. The factory floors that once built the tools of the frontier were now building the tools that would redefine the global order. However, the post-war era brought significant challenges as the firearms market evolved and manufacturing costs in New England began to climb. The 1964 redesign of several flagship models intended to streamline production met with intense criticism from traditionalists who felt the brand had sacrificed quality for profit. This pre-64 versus post-64 divide remains a significant point of discussion among collectors and historians today, illustrating the high standards to which the American public held the brand. It was a moment of corporate friction that highlighted the difficulty of maintaining a legacy of craftsmanship in an era of increasing automation and cost-cutting. Despite these internal shifts, the Winchester brand maintained its grip on the American imagination through its heavy presence in cinema and television. The Western genre, which dominated the mid-20th century, utilized the Winchester rifle as a central character, reinforcing the link between the brand and the virtues of courage and justice. For the 40-plus audience, these films and shows formed the bedrock of their understanding of American history and heroism. The silhouette of a man with a lever-action Winchester became an international shorthand for the American spirit. The brand had successfully transitioned from a hardware manufacturer to a cultural icon. The late 20th century saw the company undergo various ownership changes and licensing agreements, eventually becoming part of the Olin Corporation, and later seeing its firearms manufactured under license by the Herstal Group. While the physical New Haven plant eventually closed its doors in 2006, the Winchester name continued to thrive through ammunition production and high-quality licensed firearms. This period of transition reflected the broader deindustrialization of the American Northeast, a bittersweet reality for many who saw the closing of the factory as the end of an era. Yet the brand refused to vanish, proving that its intellectual and emotional value far outweighed its physical real estate. Today, Winchester exists as a dual legacy of high-performance ammunition and meticulously crafted firearms that honor the original designs. It remains a top-tier choice for competitive shooters, hunters, and historians who value the weight of tradition.
The brand's ability to maintain relevance in a modern, highly regulated market is a testament to the enduring power of its founding principles. It continues to evoke a sense of pride in American manufacturing and a deep respect for the tools that shaped the nation's destiny. Winchester is not just a brand, it is a repository of American history, etched in steel and wood.
The impact of Winchester on the American psyche cannot be overstated, as it represents the intersection of individual liberty and industrial prowess. It provided the means for personal protection and sustenance in a time when the government's reach was limited, fostering a culture of independence that remains a core American value. The lever-action rifle is often cited as the first modern firearm for the common man, bridging the gap between the artisanal guns of the past and the mass-produced weapons of the future. This democratization of high-quality technology is a recurring theme in the history of American success stories.
The aesthetic of a Winchester, the blued steel, the warm walnut stock, and the smooth cycle of the lever is a sensory experience that resonates with generations of Americans. It is an object that feels permanent in an increasingly disposable world, a characteristic that appeals strongly to a mature audience seeking stability and authenticity. Collectors today pay premium prices for vintage models, not just for their function, but for the stories they carry from a bygone era. Each scratch on a stock and each worn spot on the receiver is a silent witness to the expansion of a nation. In the realm of international trade, Winchester was one of the first American brands to achieve true global recognition, exporting its products to every corner of the earth. From the deserts of the Middle East to the steppes of Russia, the Winchester rifle was a respected and feared instrument of power. This global reach helped establish the reputation of American goods as being of the highest caliber, paving the way for other industries to follow. It was a pioneer in global branding long before the term was coined, using performance as its primary marketing tool.
The company's history is also a reflection of the complex and often violent nature of American expansion. While it provided the tools for settlement, it also provided the tools for conflict, a reality that the brand's history must acknowledge with clinical impartiality. The Winchester was present at every major turning point of the 19th century American experience, from the Indian Wars to the range wars of the cattle barons. It was a tool of the lawman and the outlaw alike, illustrating the dual nature of technology as a force for both order and chaos.
As a corporate entity, Winchester's survival through economic depressions, world wars, and shifting social attitudes is a remarkable brand management feat. It has navigated the transition from a necessary survival tool to a luxury heritage item with significant grace. This evolution is a blueprint for how a legacy brand can maintain its soul while adapting to a completely different world. The brand's longevity is rooted in its refusal to compromise on the core identity that Oliver Winchester established over 150 years ago. For the modern creator, the Winchester story offers a rich tapestry of visual and narrative possibilities. It allows for a deep dive into the mechanics of firearms, the biographies of industrial titans, and the sweeping history of a continent. The narrative arc from a New England factory to the dusty trails of the West is a classic American journey that never fails to captivate.
It is a story of ambition, failure, and ultimate triumph that mirrors the story of the United States itself. The brand's current positioning in the market emphasizes its legendary status, a term that is well earned through over a century of consistent performance. It leverages its history not as a crutch, but as a foundation for modern innovation in ballistics and firearm design. This balance of looking back while moving forward is what keeps the 40-plus audience engaged and loyal. They see in Winchester a reflection of their own values, respect for the past, and a commitment to excellence in the present. The Winchester Repeating Arms Company stands as a monument to a time when the American dream was forged in the heat of a furnace and the strike of a hammer. It reminds us that the country was built by those who had the tools and the courage to push beyond the horizon. The lever-action rifle remains the most recognizable silhouette in the history of weaponry, a testament to a design that was right from the very beginning. It is a legacy that continues to inspire and command respect. Ultimately, the story of Winchester is a story of people, the inventors, the workers, and the users who relied on these machines in the most critical moments of their lives. It is a human story told through the medium of cold steel and warm wood. The brand's enduring popularity is a tribute to the quality of their work and the depth of their impact on the American experience. Winchester didn't just win the West, it helped define what it meant to be American.
As we look toward the future, the Winchester name remains a benchmark for quality and a symbol of a nation's enduring strength. Its history is a reminder of the power of innovation and the importance of preserving the icons that shaped our world. For those who value the heritage of the United States, Winchester will always be more than a manufacturer. It will be a legend. The echo of a Winchester lever being cycled is the sound of history itself, a sound that continues to resonate across the American landscape.